Hey, gang, my name is Carl White. I'm your host here for the next 15, 20 or so minutes. And you are listening to Loan Officer Freedom, number one podcast in the world today. And I'm broadcasting from the secret headquarters here at the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And you're listening to the right episode. If you want to hear about just getting started and ramping up, what is what do you do if you're just getting in the business or just ramping up or maybe just refreshing your business? What's some good activities to do to ramp things up? And so I've got a dear friend of mine, special guest, Maria Fuentes Archilla. What a colorful name, Maria. I love your name.
It's a
So
mouthful. It's a
it,
mouthful.
it is, but it's a good mouthful. So it's good to
Yeah.
see you, my friend.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, Carl.
Let's see, and where you coming out of today? Where are you broadcasting from
So
today?
I am in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, which is literally one of my favorite places in the entire world. I just
Yeah.
love it up there.
Love
So
it here.
I've got a lot of friends up there, and I used to live up there when I was a kid. So I just absolutely love it. So let's give everybody just a quick lay of the land. So uh, loan officer, mortgage broker, banker.
Yeah.
How long you been doing this? Give us a quick
Sure.
brief.
So I joined the business as a loan officer, and I got licensed in October 2021.
All right. So what is that about
Almost going on 2 years almost
yeah.
soon.
So year and a
Yeah.
half, give or take. So
Mhm.
cool. Hey, how'd you what got you in the business?
So when our family relocated from South Florida, and we went to the closing, both the realtor and the lender at the time were like, man, you'd be so good at this business. And at the time, I just wanted, I had worked full time. I have 3 kids. I had never had the chance to just be home with them. And so it wasn't my season. And so I just kind of planted a seed and I just kind of let it go. And then my mom actually ended up getting recruited by the lender, and she started working with her, and because they wanted a bilingual lender. And so she's been in the business now 5 years. And so when
Okay.
my youngest started kindergarten, she was like, that summer, she was like, you should really start thinking about joining me now. And so now we brand ourselves as the NC Lending Ladies, and as a mother-daughter team. So
How cool is that? Now, is mom still in South Florida, or is she up there in
oh,
Greensboro with
she
you guys?
followed me up here 3 months after we moved. She relocated because she couldn't be away from her
That's a
grandbaby. So
smart mama right there. That's
yeah.
a smart mama.
Yep.
So you guys work together then?
Yeah. So I mean, we work virtually. I mean, we have our own space. We work with different realtors. Sometimes we'll meet realtors together, but we definitely help each other out, which is nice. If one of us is away, we'll jump in files if we need to, and
But
pre-approve.
you have your production and she has hers,
Right.
and it's two
Right.
totally separate um,
Business.
businesses
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
se.
In a way, yeah. But we do help each other when we can.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So you're getting ramped up. You're new in the business,
Yeah.
and I'm going off the numbers. Your branch manager messaged me, if I remember right, and I think he said, I'm looking at the numbers. I think it was February. You were like one loan a month. So like the past little bit, you've been doing like one a month or two a month or one every other
Yeah.
month, or
I mean, since I started, I kind of grew organically, but I didn't have a plan in place before the DSP. So it was very like touch and go. And so there would be one month that I'd get 2 loans and then one and two, so it kind of just teetered at that level. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing growth after diligently following the DSP and following all the steps.
So
So
do you have an increase in like in your pre-approved and lookings or your
yeah, I'm getting about 25 to 30 leads a month consistently. And I currently have 4 in the pipeline now. I just closed one a little over a week ago. So it's definitely ramping up.
so like for the 30-day period, you're probably going to be around 5, somewhere in that
Yeah,
neighborhood.
hopefully. Yeah, hopefully
All right.
I'll get there. Yep.
Okay, cool. And I mean, as long as they close, obviously sometimes they might
Right.
get pushed back a week or two.
Right,
But,
right, right.
all right,
Mhm.
cool. So 5, and that sounds about right. So 25 to 30 leads and closing 5 out of that.
Mhm.
That's about right. So we
Yeah.
use this, it's like 1 out of 4, is kind of our matrix. Is that what you see on and I want to clarify when we say 25 to 30 leads, these are self-generated, where referred leads. These are not
Yeah.
like you're not buying
Referred by
leads.
the lending, not the lending, the realtor partners.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So those close at about 1 out of 4, something like that, is
Right.
what we get. Is that you get the same
Yeah,
about?
I mean, it's amazing when you look at the numbers. They don't lie. It's right on track with everything that my coach is telling me. So it's pretty amazing because sometimes you feel like, nothing's happening, and then boom, they all come in at once. I had 1 week where 3 contracts came in at once. So
Yeah, good for
um,
you.
yeah, thank
That's
you.
exciting. Because
Yeah.
if we're just gonna, and we don't talk about BIPs or anything like that here on the podcast, because everybody, depends on how much help you have or don't have help, or are you paying for the assistance, or is the company paying? So it's all such a variety. But let's just, around what's your average loan amount?
Right now, it's a little lower than I'd hope. It's around the 200 mark.
Okay, so perfect. So
Yeah.
let's just use and again, I'm not going to ask you what you make, but let's say if we use the 100 basis points as a benchmark, right? Some people new in the business a little lower. When I first got in, I was at 30 basis points, by the way. But hey, I didn't know anything, right? And as I learned more and closed more, well, it improved. So if we say 100 basis points, that's like a couple $1,000s. So if we got 5 loans in a 30-day period, well, that's five. That's what, like 10 grand, right? For a 30-day period. Not bad. Not too shabby. So last I heard in around the Greensboro area, you can pay your rent with 10 grand a month. So
that
right, cool.
and more.
Yeah.
Go on vacation.
So how did you get these? So you're brand new to the area.
Yeah.
It's not like you didn't move there and know a bunch of people.
I knew nobody.
All right. So you're now getting 25 to 30 referred leads from realtors per month, closing about 1 out of 4 of them, give or take. How'd you make that happen? And by the way, brand new in the business, so let's just be honest, you don't know a whole lot, right? You don't have the time to. So
yeah, I mean, one thing that I think many loan officers probably struggle with is that imposter syndrome. I mean, it still gets me sometimes, like, oh, who am I to be reaching out to these whales or big time realtors in the area? But, I think one thing that I keep hearing consistently from the realtors that I reach out to is that they really love the communication. And I didn't have a strategy before. And so I wasn't consistent with the calls. I would just kind of reach out randomly, or if I saw something on Facebook, I'd reach out to a realtor. And now it's like I have this strategy where every Monday I'm calling, Thor's hammer and follow the steps. So I hear all the time. I just heard from 2 listing agents yesterday when I was doing my follow-ups on my loans. 2 of them were like, where are you located? I am so impressed with your communication. I'm definitely going to be sending business your way. So it's really amazing to see that kind of response.
Yeah, very good. So you mentioned the listing agents. Let's talk about that just for a few minutes. So these are listing agents of deals that you got in the pipeline.
Correct.
So you reached out, or do you reach out to all of them or some of them, or how does that work?
All of them, every single one in my pipeline. I'm giving them an update every week. I call them in the morning, and then by the end of the day, I'm sending just a recap email about what we discussed, or if I left a voicemail, just so that they have it in writing. And yeah, I've just been consistent doing that. And by the 3rd, 4th week of me calling them, when we're right at the finish line, that's when it's like this funny timing where it's clicking, like, wow, you've really called me for 4 weeks and everything's gone smoothly, and it's been great. So I'm very excited to see what's to come from those contacts later on.
And so when you call them up, tell me what that looks like. So they're a listing agent, you call them up, like, what do you're calling
Hey, agent, I'm just calling to let you know how it's going on such and such loan. Everything's going well. We just got the appraisal in. It came in at a good value. Everything's looking great for a smooth closing next week. So if you know of any, if you have any buyers that you're working with, would love the opportunity to help them as well and work with you again in the future. So
you get anything from that?
I mean, now after 3-4 weeks of calling them, they are responding and they're saying, I'm going to send business your way, because no other lender has the communication that you've been showing so far. So
what do you say to the loan officer? Because I see comments on Facebook groups, great groups, right? Groups that of loan officers, and sometimes we see those things. Well, gee, they're already working with somebody, or hey, I'm brand new to the business. Why would they refer to me? Or I don't know them.
Mhm.
What would you say to the person? Hey, all the real estate agents, they already have a loan officer they're working with. No need to bark up that tree. What do you say to that?
I hear that a lot, when I make my calls, and sometimes I just focus on that first step of, hey, I just want to meet you and learn about your business and what's made you so successful. Let's just go grab coffee, lunch, or even chat over Zoom. And some I do get that pushback, and I just keep reaching out. And I haven't hit a breakthrough on all of those yet, but you just got to be consistent and show them that you're not just one phone call and done, like, okay, I gave up, and that's
Yeah.
it. And it's more about what can you give them of value as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And in your case, where you're kind of, again, you're just newer in the business, right? You haven't had time to have a lot of depth and experience, right? Because
Right.
you're like the rest of us when we're new, we didn't have that much.
Right.
So how does that go? Where like I guess you're not calling them, hey, I'm going to help you transformationalize your business because I'm a real estate agent guru and
Right.
I've
No.
trained thousands of agents before you, and like that's
Yeah.
not the
No,
conversation.
not at
So
all. I think for me, it's really finding those connections with agents that I genuinely like them, and I want to build that and nurture that relationship.
mhm,
So it doesn't come off fake. It's just, I really want to find people that I can link arms with that will do great work together. And, I think in the end, many of us offer the same programs and everything. And it's more just about who you click with, and if your communication is there and they appreciate that, then they'll give you a shot. So,
nice.
yeah.
When you meet with these agents, are you meeting them in person? Are you doing Zoom? Or you just work on the phone, or what does that look like?
It's a mix. I do like meeting them in person. I'm a coffee enthusiast, so I love meeting people for coffee, and just, I think I get a better response in person just because we can connect on a personal level. We have kids and share things in common. Sometimes it's a little harder on the phone. And Zoom, I haven't had as much luck. We'll schedule it and then maybe they can't show up or something happens and they
Hmm.
can't, stick to the meeting. But yeah, I've tried it all, and it's been going well.
Yeah,
So obviously, if they're more an hour out of my area, then I try to just stick to Zoom or phone call.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. So, what's been the one? What's been the one thing about this that is like, you know what? This is actually easier than I thought it was. In my mind, I thought this was going to be
Yeah.
a hard thing, and come to find out when I started doing it, like come to find out this part, whatever this part is,
Yeah.
this part's easier than I would have thought. What is that for you?
Yeah, I think like many people, I was probably had that phone call reluctance. And I've learned over the last few months to just try to um, not take things personally as much and kind of take the emotion out of it. And just, if they say no, I mean, what's the worst they can do is say, I'm not interested, or hang up, but mostly it's just on to the next, and I think that's been a big lesson for me, to just not take it personally, and it's okay. And they might be having a bad day that day, or, even if they don't want to use me as a lender, I heard someone say it on one of your episodes. It's always nice to say, hey, you might see my name come across an offer in the future. And so I just want to get to know you. It's just to get that foot in the door. And make that connection. So,
Yeah. I always, you talk about that call reluctance. I think my own personal breakthrough on that came with a realization. I guess we've all thought of this, but I don't know, just some reason one day it was just real clear to me. It was like, all right, Carl, what's the absolute worst that could happen?
right.
And I thought, well, they're not going to drive over and beat me up,
Right.
right? They're not going to hit me with a crowbar. Um, Gosh, I guess tell me to go pound sand or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
which I don't know. I don't know why I've never had anybody what I would call,
Mhm.
be,
No one's been that like overly nasty
yeah,
or anything. But sometimes you hear it in their voice when you introduce yourself and you say you're a lender. It's kind of like, you hear it like, oh, here's another one, but
yeah,
I just try to be genuine, like I said, and if they'll give me a shot just to even talk or meet,
Yeah. And then I thought, well, what's the best case scenario? Well, they send me I don't know, one closing a month. And if I'm making, like in your case, a couple grand each closing, or give or take, just a hypothetical number, but a couple grand per month. And that means that yes is worth $25,000 for the year, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the listing agents that I'll meet on those closings, right? It's kind of all snowballs.
Right.
So worst case scenario, Carl, go pound sand. Best case scenario, 24 grand.
Yeah.
I'll,
Come out winning. No
yeah,
matter.
I came out okay with that, and I think that was the my mind shift of doing that. So cool.
Yeah.
What anything been more challenging than you would have thought?
I think more than anything is just getting organized and tracking the numbers, because before I wasn't really doing any of that. And so now that I have this system in place, it's just keeping up with everything, right? Like my list of post coffees is getting longer, more leads to follow up on, and it's just being diligent and sticking to it. And I think a lot of what I put it on myself. It's just my personality. I feel like I have to get to everything today, or, I don't want to leave anything hanging. And if all these applications come in, I get sometimes a little stressed and overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, I don't want them to think, I'm ignoring them. So it's sometimes hard to juggle all of the follow-ups and working the loans and doing all of that. But, sticking to the plan and sticking with the calls in the morning just kind of frees up your mind, and then you can move on to the next thing. Like, okay, I'm done with my calls for today. Unless someone calls me now and asks for something, I'll just focus on my other tasks. So it's just, I think you just need to get the hang of it,
Yeah.
And
so is most of your business coming in as a response to calls, or is there any, are you teaching any classes or anything else that?
Right now, it's mostly calls. I have gotten a few leads here and there, not many. It really from social media. I know you've talked about it before. It's a very small percentage. I've closed 2 loans. One was a very good one, VA in the 400s, and I closed that one in February. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I don't mind.
Sure.
I have a background in communications. I don't think we talked about that, Carl, but before I got into business, I was in communications and marketing. And so I've learned that I don't have to spend that much time on social media, but it's something that I enjoy. And so if I have the time, I'll post here and there. And it has brought me leads out of the blue where they have their realtor, but they just reached out to me and wanted to get pre-approved. So that's always a nice treat.
Yeah, I like those little bonuses.
Yeah.
So how is that? Do you have anybody helping you? Like, do you have is this are you kind of are you a one woman kind of
right
loan
now?
shop?
I'm a one woman show. I had a VA, but the results just weren't there. And so I didn't see a need. And now that I've built up my Focus 40 and my post coffee, it's something that I can manage on my own. And I still like Wednesdays, since my database isn't as hefty, I'll do some more Thor's hammer on Wednesdays, so I've been managing okay. And, we'll see if things explode, then I might have to hire a VA or do some more work.
Any help on the, do you have like, do you have a processor that helps out? Like,
I have a loan.
How about the paper chasing? Like any help with that?
I do have a loan partner helping, which has been a huge help for me. Prior, I felt like I just had my head buried in my files and I couldn't prospect. Like there was just no time. So that's really given me more time to focus on the prospecting side and just building those relationships with my partners. And that's been a huge help. And hopefully I'll get to the point where then I can get some front end help eventually as well. So
yeah, I don't doubt that at all. So I think somewhere around February you switched companies. Is that what you said?
In March, end of March. Yeah.
All right. So we're not going to, mention any names or anything like that, but on what was the carrot on the new company? You said, I'm making the change because blank. Like, what was the carrot?
Yeah. I just mentioned, I felt like I was buried in my files and I couldn't get my head above water. Nothing against the other company. They were great. And I appreciated them, teaching me so much in my first year. But I just needed more of that structure, and the new place just really provided that coaching, that encouragement, and just surrounding myself with people that are doing really amazing things in the business was very exciting for me. And yeah, and having that loan partner now to help me with chasing conditions and things like that that was really the catalyst for me.
When do you, so like at what point, so if I call the number on the front of your business card, is that who answers? Is that you or somebody else? Or?
So I know I need to get an answer. That's one thing I still need on my to-do list. We do have someone on the team, but right now most of the agents have my personal, it's perfect. My business cell, but they do call me directly.
All right, perfect. So I call your cell and you answer. So you take the applications.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times they'll send me a lead, and then I'll I'll follow up with a text to the person, or I'll say, hey, do you want to jump on a call, or do you want me to go ahead and send you the link to apply and get started, and we can touch base later. But that's pretty much how it goes. And if I can't answer at the moment, I always just text them right away. Like, hey, I'm busy right now, but I'll call you right after. So,
okay.
It's been manageable, right?
Yeah. Perfect. Hey, by the way, and I'm sure you do something else. You're just kind of said that as a placeholder.
Yeah.
Like we don't tell them we're busy. We say I'm helping another family right now.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I know you knew that. I was just saying that for our listening audience. Yeah. Never tell somebody you're busy, telling you're helping another family right now.
Right.
So, and by the way, you are helping another family. Just sometimes that family is your own, right? It's dinner time or the Saturday, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you find a difference? So when they call you, and I want to go back more into like, at what point to hand over the loan partner?
Mm-hmm.
Before I go there though, so I call you or I text you and you text me back, hey, do you want to, here's the link, or do you want me to call and take it over the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Do you find any conversion difference in one versus the other? Like, do you convert more on the phone when you take an app live, or when they go the link, it works just as well?
I think the link has been working fine. I don't know if it's the demographic that I'm working with. Maybe it's just their age or comfortable doing that. And if they need a little bit more hand holding, then of course, like I'll take it over the phone. But no, I haven't really seen any difference.
I get it. I've always wondered about that. I think part of that is a generational thing. I know guys like me that have circled the planet more than just a few times. Man, I'd much rather get on the phone with somebody and they just ask me questions rather. But if I have to go on the, if I'm taking an app and I don't know, obviously we've done tens of thousands of them, but if I hadn't done that, when they ask a question, well, do they mean this or that? And so I'd rather do it over the phone, but I think that's just a generational thing. All right. So fill out the application, research loan programs, sell them the deal. Yep. We'll take that rate and this much down payment and this much cash to close. Is that the point that you hand it off to the loan partner?
Once they're under contract, that's when the loan partner comes in and I hand it off to them.
So like I'm getting approved. So me and Realtor Bob went out this weekend. I found something. Realtor Bob said, hey, you need to call Maria. So I call you up. We do the application. You sell me the terms. I go, yeah, I'll do that. You then introduce me to your loan partner, and they're the ones that take it kind of from there to close. Is that kind of works?
Right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Once I get the contract and I structure the loan, then I reach out and introduce them to my loan partner, and she kind of takes it from there. And obviously, I'm still CC'd, and I still reach out to the borrower weekly as well as the agents involved. But she kind of handles all of the paperwork and chasing conditions.
And I guess that frees up your time to go get the next deal, which is why in the last, 90-ish days, you've gone from 1 to like 4 or 5. And usually that trajectory just continues to increase, because every deal you're calling the listing agents, you're starting to get more of those. And this, I'm telling you this stuff, and you're probably already seeing it. It really does have a snowball effect. There's nothing better for business than business, and that really brings it up. So again, I know you're just kind of ramping this up, and it's not like you've been doing this for 100 years like I have, but is there anything like, now that you know what you know, because you've learned a lot here in a very short period of time, If you started over again, is there anything like if you could go back and tell yourself a year and a half ago when you got in the business, and you could tell yourself you got 5 minutes to tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself?
Implement the follow-up system and the DSP from the get-go. I would have been a lot further now if I would have done it from the beginning. Yeah. And, back then I was listening to you guys on your podcast and tuning in here and there, but I never fully plugged in. And so I'm really glad that finally I took that leap. And just another quick example, in the last 2 days, I got new realtors referring me business that I have never spoken to because their broker in charge or someone on their team referred me. And those people that referred me are people that I've reached out to on my DSP, had coffee with, and some of them have converted to Focus 40 that same day or the very next day. It's really amazing to see how quickly it turns around. I haven't had to follow up with my post coffee for 12 weeks to get that first lead, so not everybody's the same, but I think they say 3 out of 10 of your post coffee will convert to Focus 40. And that has been the case for me. So it's really amazing to see, like you said, that spider web or snowball effect, where it's just kind of like, how are all like it's just catching like wildfire,
No, we're gonna call it a spider web, that we get them into the web, and exactly, that's our evil scheme, So, and I just want to clarify a couple terms here that I understand, but I just make sure everybody else does. So when you meet somebody for coffee, when you meet an agent for coffee,
yes,
and you've qualified the agent to make sure that make sure they actually have business to refer to you, that if you meet with 10 agents, 3 of them start referring over to you.
Yes.
And what we call our Focus 40 means they're sending you over referrals on a regular basis. And we call it a Focus 40 because we're looking for 40 agents to be referring us business often. Right. And we focus on that 40 instead of shotgunning our marketing, in other areas. Focus on the fans is the way I always said. Exactly. So very exciting. So, hey, let me ask you a question. No right or wrong answer to this. So it's a year from today, and we're up there in Hagenstone Park, south of Greensboro, just a beautiful little park. Yeah. And we're having I know you're a coffee connoisseur, as you've said, and we're having a cup of coffee up there, and you give me a high five and you say, Carl, it's been an amazing year. Yeah. Where are you at a year from today that you're happy with your progress?
I'd like to take it in small bite sizes, because I do get overwhelmed with thinking of closing a crazy amount of loans in 1 year. But if I could double what I've done so far, double last year's, and that was just my first year in the business. And, I had to deal with rates going up and all the things, but if I could double, I'll be happy. For me, I've always said this even before I got into the business, family, work and life balance is priority for me. I don't want to be pulled away from my kids and not get to enjoy and enjoy 100%. Summer with them or go on vacation. So my goal isn't the end all be all of like, I want to close 100 loans a year and then be making buku. That's just not me. I'll just be happy with helping as many families that I can and building those relationships with realtors and just, still enjoying the job, because I know it can get stressful and overwhelming at times. So,
though, I have found, for me personally, and let's use a smaller number. Let's say I have found closing 20 loans a month is easier than 3. I have. Because let me ask you this. Like where you are right now, where you had somewhere in the neighborhood, maybe one gets pushed out, but like over between the last week and the next 3, give or take, you're expecting somewhere around 5 closings. Was that easier or harder than when you were closing 1 every other month?
I think it's been manageable. I was worried that I was going to not be able to handle that many at once, to be honest, but it's been okay. And like I said, I think it's all about the structure in your day and just sticking
and the help
plan and the help. The help is huge. And so when I get to that point where I can get that front end help, I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. I'm going to be like, this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the goal. I think for me, that's a bigger goal than hitting a certain number of loans. It's just getting that help.
I think you're going to find that they're both going to happen like organically, you know, well, as long as as long as we're doing that, the proactive activity to bring those loans in is making our calls, working the data success plan, which, the DSP that you mentioned here, that will happen. And I think you'll find, that when we're closing, say, you mentioned 100 loans for the year. So that, and let's just say, I don't know, what would that be, like 8.3, let's just say 9 loans a month, give or take, that we can have more help closing 9 than we did at 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that our actual involved work actually is less at 9. And when we get to 20, it's actually less at 20 than it was at 9. And I think you're going to find that as we increase our closings, we have more help. We actually get more freedom rather than less freedom. That as I've closed, like my whole team collectively, this last month did, I think, and I don't have the number here in front of me, I think it was a little over 300 loans. I've never had more free time in my life, because I have more help, right? It's a bigger team doing it. Yeah. And so I bet you, I'm going to get my little crystal ball here. Because I've been following you here for a little bit. Right? You're making waves, people seeing what's happening here, and you make waves that we see on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club every morning. And I talk to your branch manager from time to time. Obviously, he's a good buddy of mine. And I'm going to make a prediction that I bet you'll have your first 10 closings per month. I'm going to predict August. Wow. So we're recording this July. So this is like the very, very beginning of July. Yeah. And so I'm going to predict that August you're going to have 10 loans in your pipeline. I bet you. And because but Maria, it's just from like you're going to be calling more. Yeah, you got more listing agents. So now you got 5 in the pipeline. And so you have 5 more people to call. You have more pre-approved and lookings. You're calling those pre-approved and looking people on Thursday. Yep. You're asking each one of those if they have any friends, family, or coworkers to refer to you, because you're asking for the business on all your prospects, all your borrowers, right, and all your referral partners. And you're going to closings and at the title company, you ask the title company for referrals. I know that's part of your Tuesday calls. Calling the title company and asking for business, and asking the title company who's the agents that weren't happy last week because maybe they got late closings, and they turn you on to those people, and you call those people. So I think you're going to be surprised at where you are 12 months from now. So we're time stamping this. Okay. And I bet you and I are going to play this episode back in about 90 days. And I bet you're going to go, holy cow, that handsome, unbelievably good looking, terribly smart guy was absolutely right. Yeah. That I'm closing yet even more, and I have more, not less freedom. I bet you. I think you're in for a very interesting ride. I really believe that. I think you're doing all the right things. You're going at it, and you've just what I appreciate you most. You're pushing through all of those fears, all of the imposter syndrome, all that stuff that all of us feel. Most people feel those things and let those things stop you. Right. And what I'm seeing from you still feel those things. You just do it anyway. Like you nothing magical. You just screw that. I'm still going to do. I still feel that. I still feel afraid. I still feel call reluctance, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I think. Hey, so let me ask you. So it's let's future cast. So it's October, and you just had your second month in a row closing 10 loans. Wow. How'd you do it?
Just sticking to the plan.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
The numbers don't lie. They haven't lied thus far. And I know that it's just going to keep growing. So
what's going to be your biggest challenge, do you think?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be managing the more applications and loans until I jump that hurdle, right? And start getting that front end help. So I just need to survive a little longer, juggling everything, until I get that extra help. But I think that's going to make the world of difference for me.
So I find the biggest challenge that most loan officers have is distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Like having focus on our business is number one thing we can do. You can't see it. I'm looking at a big little
Mm-hmm.
poster I've got here in front of my face.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look up, I see it, and all it says is one word. It's just in huge font. It says focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the distractions. Like, well, gee, this is working real well. Oh, I don't know. Instead of doing more of that, let's do something else.
Right.
Right. And I think that's
yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And I think that's the biggest challenge is staying focused on what's working and not getting distracted. Especially we get a little money in our pocket, we can start buying things and finding some widget, buying magic beans from somebody that, I'm going to plant these magic beans in a beanstalk and all this other stuff. So I think it's the just staying focused and staying the track. So I don't think you're gonna have that problem though. You seem like a pretty focused person. So
thanks.
Anything I should have asked you today that I didn't ask you? Did we cover it all? Did I miss anything?
No, I think this was great. And thanks for having me. And I'm really excited to meet you in person and give you a big hug at Freedom Club next month in Nashville.
We haven't met yet. We haven't met.
Not in person, no.
See, I get so screwed up. I know we do these Zoom meetings, and I know you're on them a lot.
Yeah. So we feel like we know each other, Carl.
I swear they screw me up because I forget who I've met with and who I've had. Because I thought we'd met before.
No, you met my mom.
Okay,
my mom at
in person.
In person.
Okay. Maybe she was telling me about you. I don't know. I feel like I know you. So, anything. So somebody's just where you were 3-4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Give them one thing to do. Give them one action item.
Implement the DSP, the daily success plan, and stick to it. Don't give up, and just don't get buried in the emotion of it. Just they give you a no, it's okay. Move on to the next, and just keep calling and respect their wishes. But if they're okay with you continuing to call them, then stick with it, and you'll be amazed at the results that you get.
Great stuff. All right, Maria, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good stuff.
This was fun. Thanks so much, Carl. Take care.
All right, Maria, really good stuff. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hey, our listeners, just real quick, be sure to reach out and thank Maria for openly sharing what she's doing. And hey, if you would like some, or when you're ready for you to implement the data success plan, the exact same one that Maria's doing, if you just simply go to freedomclubdemo.com, freedomclubdemo.com, Maria's a member of our Freedom Club, and we'll walk you through the exact same plan that we mapped out for her that is working extremely well. Again, I want to give Maria all the credit. She's the one doing it. We might have mapped it out, but she's the one that's making it happen. And when you're ready for that to enter into your business and to see the increase in your business, whether you're closing 10 a month right now or 20 a month and you want to go to that 40, or just like Maria, you're just getting started and want to ramp up, we'd love to talk to you about that. So we'll map out the plan for you. No charge, 45-minute call. Just go to freedomclubdemo.com, pick a time and the date on the calendar that works for you, and we'll talk to you on the call. So thanks so much. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you when you call in. Bye-bye.